The Audi Q3 has been a big hit in Australia. In its first generation, Audi delivered more of these to customers than alternatives from both BMW and Mercedes-Benz. The new car initially launched with just one version, a 1.4 litre turbo that was front-wheel drive. Here, however, we have the new kid on the block, the 40 TFSI model that features more power with a 2 litre turbo and Audi's signature quattro all-wheel drive. Now we know a bunch of you have been wanting us to drive this car, so we'll take you through a few of the highlights. We'll jump in the first row, second row, cargo area and take it for a bit of a spin to see whether it's been worth the wait. The new Q3 40 TFSI version represents the middle of the Q3 range and kicks off from $53,900 before on-roads. That makes it $7,500 more than the entry-level front-wheel drive 35 TFSI version. For that coin, you get a bigger motor with more power, all-wheel drive, a 7-speed gearbox as opposed to 6, and some extra equipment. There is one more variant that sits above our car, which is the sportier S-Line version. Stepping up from the 40 TFSI model from the entry level nets some exterior styling upgrades. The cladding on our car comes body coloured as standard, which gives it a premium edge. If you want this look on your 35 TFSI model, you have to pay extra as a part of an optional package. The wheels are upgraded too, with these rather classic looking 19-inch wheels coming in lieu of 18-inch versions on the entry-level model. Evolution has been the name of Audi's design game for quite some time now. Now this car is not only bigger proportionally, but its wheelbase is also bigger, 77mm to be exact, which does a lot to remove the stubby nature from the car. Every Audi you see on the road these days is usually finished in Sepang blue or some other bright colour, features a black pack, S-Line kit, dark wheels, so on and so forth. Now it might be me getting old, but I think this car looks sensational in its traditional colour scheme. You've got a nice deep blue hue, that's almost quite green, these alloy silver wheels, and this beautiful brushed aluminium trim that looks just fantastic. It shows you that you don't have to step up to the S-Line model to get a bit of curb appeal. This 40 TFSI model, without the S-Line pack, already looks the part. Boot space in this new Q3 betters the old one by 70 litres, totalling 530 on offer. That makes it the biggest boot in its segment. It's pretty good. There are versatility features too. These pull-out trays, as well as a boot floor that can be adjusted to be level with the sill, making it easy to load awkward objects. Despite Audi's heroic efforts, all of the space has been gained lengthways and not sideways. That means when you're loading something like a compact stroller even, you have to place it here. You can't chock it up against the back seat, which is ideally where you'd want to put it. Rear storage extends through to 15-25 litres with all of the seats folded. Underneath the boot carpet, you'll find a space-saving spare wheel. It's worth noting, however, that regardless of the wheel option you choose, that you always get a space-saving spare. If you're expecting to jump into an Audi and be wowed by presentation and the overall cabin, you won't be let down here. Everything has been fitted, milled and assembled with sheer precision. Now one thing to discuss, however, is Audi's MMI touch system. Now in their more premium models, they include acoustic and haptic feedback, which means you get a sense of vibration and sound when you use the touchscreen. If you're coming from a BMW, a Merc, or even an old Q3 for that matter, you may be used to having some physical controls down here, and this may take a little bit of time to get used to. Further to that, the voice control in this car is pretty good, and they have kept some physical buttons for the climate control and the infotainment system, be it volume and skipping tracks. Leather seats come standard in this Q3, and given that this is a non-S-Line model, they are very comfortable and quite flat. However, there are some cheaper materials featured down below with this sort of matte silver and matte black, which looks like it might easily scratch. In addition to those leather seats, technology is at a high in this cabin. We've got two USB ports, a regular port and a USB-C port that enables faster charging, as well as a wireless pad that's actually quite usable. Why is that? Because we've got wireless Apple CarPlay in this car. Other standard kit includes keyless entry and start, customizable ambient lighting, and a 10.25-inch high-resolution digital instrument cluster. Space in the second row is as expected. There's a pretty good knee room, however, you'll find more space in a Volvo XC40. The Audi does jump ahead in a few key areas, however. Firstly, great headroom. Secondly, this great 40-20-40 split bench. What you can do with this rear bench is have two passengers on board and load a long piece of cargo through, maybe a piece of flat pack furniture. On top of that, both of these outbound seats slide 150mm, which when they're moved to their most forward position, unlocks even more boot space, comparable to cars from the class above. Rear occupants are also treated to two fast-charging USB-C ports, as well as deep storage pockets, and an armrest complete with cup holders. The 2-litre turbocharged engine produces 132 kilowatts of power and a decent 320 Nm of torque down low from just 1400 RPM. It sends its power through quattro all-wheel drive. This makes our 40 TFSI car the entry point for a quattro badged Audi Q3, as the 35 TFSI model remains a front-wheel drive proposition only. If you've been waiting for a bit more pep with the Audi Q3 range, you won't be disappointed with this 2-litre model. Its power increase, is instantly noticeable when compared to the 1.4-litre model. There's a lot of torque available down low, and with quattro all-wheel drive, the traction is always kept in check. You immediately notice once in the cabin the great forward and sideward visibility. There's this really thin A-pillar and deep glass that goes all the way forward, which means you can see down the corners of the car really easily. It's a good thing for safety, and it's a good thing for parking too, and it's a big plus in my books. Now let's talk about the ride and handling in this car. This is a non-S-Line version, so it's equipped with fixed dampers that have one setting. It seems Audi have dialed up the stiffness. It gets a bit firm on the really broken down roads with lots of blemishes, and even in some scenarios comes a little bit skittish and a little bit too busy. Now, given that this isn't an S-Line car, I expected it to be a bit more compliant. I would like a bit more road comfort from this car. But at the end of the day, this is Audi, and they tune their cars with dynamism and driving experience in mind. Maybe their customer base enjoys this firm ride, but in all honesty, when you've got that other S-Line model available, which has adaptive dampers on offer, it doesn't make too much sense to have this car as firm as it is. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope too that you subscribe to our channel. Compared to competitors, its large boot and versatile second row will likely win those over who need the extra space but can't make the stretch to the segment above. Within the Q3 range, for a step up of $7,500, you get more than your money's worth versus the entry model. The added engine performance is duly welcomed, as is the confidence provided by that quattro all-wheel drive system. Tack on the extra styling and equipment updates that you get with this 50 TFSI model makes it what I believe to be the pick of the bunch. So if you were initially concerned with the low power front-wheel drive nature of the Q3 when it launched in Australia, get out and drive this car. It has the space, style and performance combo that we've come to expect from the 4 Rings.